last year, I realized that we are really far from what is doing outside of the Africa or the country. Many of the kids today, they have like in their books, they are talking about technology, but it's not practical. It means that many of these kids are not at the same level. When we have like competition, Cameroonians are not taking part of some competition for kids because many of these school or parents don't know about all these competition, all these opportunities.
On today's edition of the Shelma Show, we're here with Belle Bebga. Belle is the CEO and founder of Licado 2.0. She's also the CEO and founder of Licado Learning Center. And notwithstanding, Belle is the founder of African Wits, African Women in Technology Startups. And I am your host, Munja Shelly. Belle, you're welcome to the Shelma Show.
Thank you, Sharon.
So, Belle, you actually said that the goal of Licado 2.0 is to bridge the gap between business challenges and technology solutions. So, what are these challenges you're referring to?
Ok. Disons que le but de Licado 2.0, c'est de réduire le pont qui existe entre les problèmes que rencontrent les PME et l'utilisation de la technologie. On remarque qu'au Cameroun, beaucoup de PME ont des difficultés à accéder aux nouvelles opportunités, aux nouveaux marchés. Et grâce à la technologie, aujourd'hui, on peut être au Cameroun et faire un site internet en Allemagne, faire un site internet dans le monde. On peut être au Cameroun aujourd'hui en tant que commerçant et savoir ce que et avoir accès peut-être au marché chinois, au marché européen, les gens qui achètent des produits, par exemple, du Made in Cameroun. Donc, et même dans la façon de travailler. Aujourd'hui, par exemple, je suis ici, comment est-ce que les méthodes de travail ont changé? On peut être à la maison en tant que maman comme moi et avoir une entreprise où des gens, on met en place des process de travail en ligne qui permettent en fait aux entreprises, des PME d'être productives. De ne pas forcément recruter beaucoup de personnes, mais travailler par exemple avec des freelances à distance.
And you focus on e-business, e-commerce and digital marketing. But I know my mother will be like, what is Shelly talking about? So how can you make a laywoman or a novice like my mother to understand these terms? E-business, e-commerce and digital marketing.
Okay. Let's say for the e-commerce, it's just the way to sell things or product or service online. Okay. Yes, people can give money. The difference is that they are using money online for e-commerce. And for e-business, it's just the way to doing business online, like maybe having a website. If you are doing like coaching, you can give training online. This is e-business. So, for example, for digital marketing, it's just the way you sell online by using tools like social media, like using website and everything around digital.
So to what extent do you think Cameroonians understand the importance of using these digital channels in driving revenue?
Okay, I think, for example, now we see more people who are involved to create digital solution, digital startup, and you can see even around the world, many people are talking about what Cameroonians are doing to build solutions, technology solutions, so we understand. And even those who are not in tech, they understand because we can just see the way people are involved in social media, how they are selling, how they are creating like groups to sell online. All this is having meaning, and you can explain the fact that people things are moving for.
So how far are we still to go?
I think we are on the way.
Okay.
But now it depends on many things, like maybe for those who are in the village, you don't have access to internet. Okay. So the government should work to build infrastructure there. So these people also who are farmers can access to internet, being in the village and sell their product.
So in 2019, you went to Morocco, right? So the Mohammed VI Polytechnic School of Collective Intelligence. Can you tell us a little bit about collective intelligence?
Disons que l'intelligence collective, c'est juste une méthode de travail, une nouvelle méthode de travail qui permet aux personnes de réunir plusieurs intelligences, de réunir plusieurs efforts autour des réflexions qui impactent un domaine. Okay. Et on utilise beaucoup plus ça dans le domaine de la politique. Lors des votes, on utilise ça dans les médias de masse comme les réseaux sociaux, okay. Et dans d'autres domaines où il faut collecter les informations.
Okay. So when somebody hears Bell talking about collective intelligence, it's easy to think that maybe this collective intelligence is just an IT thing, right? But can collective intelligence be used in other fields?
Yes, as I say, collective intelligence is not IT thing. It's just like a methodology or a process we use to change the way we build things. For example, if you are working like for farmer, you are IT, you are not going to build solution without farmer. When you need farmer who can give you their challenge, what they are facing, because you can build your product, you think that the product is good for farmer, but at the time when the farmer want to use the solution is not correct for them. So you need to get farmer on the table, you need to get IT on the table, you need to get government on the table, every person around the project to give the input so we can get there with the good solution.
Wow, thank you so much, Belle. So after the break, we'll still be here with Belle to see what her NGO, African Week, is all about. Remember, African Week is African Women in Technology Startups. Thank you. If you're just joining us today on the Shelma Show, we're here with Belle Bebga. Belle is the CEO and founder of Liquado 2.0. She's also the founder of African WIT, African Women in Technology Startups. So Belle, what is African WIT all about?
Okay. African WIT means African Women in Technology. It's a tech hub and digital training center for women and young girls in Cameroon.
Okay. So what's it out to do?
Okay. We are doing training, digital training for women and girls, and we are doing like a meetup and conference to sensibilize them and to give them digital tools how they can work. And many of our target is women who are not in tech field. Okay. They are women in business. We have other professional women who want to learn more about digital technology, how they can use it for their career, and that's all.
Okay, so looking at NGOs in general, non-government organizations, right? Many people always fear that they are out to exploit donors, maybe to get money. When I was talking with you today, we actually mentioned the fact that you'll be needing donors, okay? So what is there that you're putting in place to ensure that when donors give you money, people don't exploit you and get this money for their own personal use?
Okay, personally, I can say since 3 years that we are working on African WIT have been so hard because we did not have funding. But it's not because the project is not good, it's just because we wanted to have a proof of concept before going to see the donor, because we are in Cameroon. Maybe you can see in actuality that everybody is talking about how to empower women in technology, but if you are doing something and people you are targeting are not responding to what you are giving them, is like you are doing nothing. So we wanted to do like a proof of concept first before going to donors to say, okay, we did it for the women, we have tried to impact this number of women, now we are ready to go to the next level to get money for other training or for other needs.
So where have you been getting your funding? If so far no donor, but you're still active and you're creating a lot of impact with this.
I can say the main advantage of African Wheat is that we have a good team.
Okay.
All of us are entrepreneurs. So when we have like an event or project, we are putting money, but not always money, but our competency. Because for me, for myself, I can say I'm doing website development. We have community manager. We have those who are doing like video. So we don't need to pay people to do this. We are doing it in sense to reduce the lack of the need of money. So that's how we are working.
So I like this project, the Licado Learning Center, right? Because interestingly, you say you focus on STEM. You call it STEM, which is science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Okay. So where are you taking our kids?
Okay, good. Let's say that I think this point is really important for me because going to Silicon Valley last year, I realized that we are really far from what is doing outside of the Africa or the country. Many of the kids today, they have like in their books, they are talking about technology, but it's not practical. They are doing like theory or
theory.
Yeah, theory, not practical. It means that many of these kids are not at the same level. When we have like competition, Cameroonians are not taking part of some competition for kids because many of these school or parents don't know about all this competition, all this opportunity. So going back here after 2 months of training in Silicon Valley, I decided to launch the center to get all these tools, all this opportunity to Cameroonians to prepare these kids for this opportunity.
Wow, that's a great one. Really admire you for that. So talking about the learning center, right? One of the focus areas in the school is also sustainability. So that kept me wondering, like, how do you teach a child of 5 years old to understand sustainability?
Ok. Comment est-ce qu'on enseigne de sustainability aux enfants? C'est plus en travaillant sur des projets. Donc, on leur apprend pas le concept en lui-même, mais comment concevoir un projet. L'idée pour nous, par exemple, pour un enfant qui a 5 ans, il est passionné par ce qu'il voit. Donc, il n'est pas intéressé de savoir est-ce que le projet sera rentable, est-ce que le projet va mettre long. Il est dans la créativité, il s'amuse. Donc, on profite du fait qu'il est naïf et qu'il s'amuse pour l'aider à créer quelque chose. Plus tard, il comprendra. For example, I have this example. I was always talking to people. My kids today, they call me president of technology. They don't know because they are seeing me working on machine, working with kids, but now they are calling me president of technology. C'est tout ça qu'on essaie en fait. Je veux dire, l'enfant voit, mais il n'est pas obligé de garder les principes. Plus tard, il s'en souviendra qu'il avait fait ça.
Wow. Okay, so after the break, we'll still be here with Belle. So we've been with Belle Bebga on the Shelma Show today. She's the CEO and founder of Licado 2.0. She's also the person that founded this organization called African Wheat, African Women in Technology Startups. She's created this center which focuses on science, technology, engineering, and mathematics for kids between 5 years old and 15 years old. Is that not great? Let's get more from Bebga. So, Belle, what sparked your love for startups?
Pourquoi est-ce que je suis focalisée sur les startups? C'est juste parce que c'est un écosystème qui est, je veux dire, qui est nouveau au Cameroun et que beaucoup ont du mal à comprendre. Aujourd'hui, même quand on est une PME, on dit qu'on est une startup. Être une startup, c'est juste une entreprise qui n'a pas encore défini son modèle économique, qui ne sait pas encore comment rentabiliser son business. Et au Cameroun, on est dans une mouvance d'entrepreneuriat. Tout le monde veut entreprendre parce qu'on n'a pas de travail, mais beaucoup n'ont pas de compétences, ne savent pas comment faire. Et aujourd'hui, quand on parle de start-up, on parle d'innovation, on parle de technologie, et c'est mon domaine. That's why I'm more focused on startup.
Wonderful. So you won all these awards. You're a tech woman. You're actually part of the Tony Elumelu Foundation, right? One of the persons that was selected for that. So what does this actually mean to you?
Okay, what I can say, it was one of the main action in my career to have this award because, for example, for tech women, it gives me opportunity to go to the Silicon Valley. This is add value for my career as a woman, as a tech woman, or as a woman working in technology. And the second for the Tony Elumelu is also having funding, and I was able to get funding to launch the center because I was working with the digital company, and after being selected and to get and have my funding, and I launched the center.
Wow, that's wonderful. So now, right, you're a lady in this field that is kind of like mostly filled by men. So what are some of the challenges that you face because you're a woman?
I didn't face too much because I decided to be an entrepreneur early after like 3 years of working for some people. But I think that was the main like a push to go to entrepreneurship. It was because I was facing like inequality in the job. Donc j'ai été recrutée en tant qu'ingénieur support informatique dans une compagnie. Mais ce qui a marqué ma carrière, c'est que déjà, je n'avais pas le même salaire que mon autre collègue qui a été recruté. Pourquoi est-ce que j'ai été recrutée en plus de ce collègue? C'est parce que j'avais la certification Cisco, une certification que mon collègue n'avait pas. Mais je n'avais pas le même salaire. Après 2 ans de travail, mon boss a décidé de m'envoyer au purchase, le département d'achat. Ce qui était déstabilisant pour moi. J'avais 23 ans et je me demandais est-ce que je suis incompétente ou pourquoi est-ce qu'on me change subitement, m'enlève Haïti, on m'envoie dans un autre département. Je suis quand même allée pour apprendre. Je me suis dit c'est l'expérience qu'on apprend. Au bout d'une année, je me suis dit je vais arrêter, je vais vraiment me lancer dans l'entrepreneuriat. C'est là où j'ai créé mon premier site de e-commerce parce que pour moi c'était comme une revanche de me dire je ne pense pas que je suis incompétente. Mais je vais faire quelque chose d'autre où je peux prouver que je peux. Donc, c'est de là où part en fait le début de ma carrière dans l'entrepreneuriat.
And do men accept you as a woman in this field?
I think, for example, in entrepreneurship, we don't have this inequality because everybody is there. If you are working as I'm working, you are recognized. Nobody will come to say you are not. But it's most of time we are seeing some issue working on company. I like employee maybe, but today I think the most important part is for women is to be competent. It's not just the issue. You can have IT background, but if you are not competent as a person, even you are a woman, they are not going to take you.
So what do you think us as women can do to stop that?
I think, first of all, we cannot stop that for ourselves.
Okay.
But what we can do is to be competent because some of the time we are not on the same level sometimes. Or some of those women are not really pushing the limit to be more appreciated, I don't know, in the work because we have other issues that affect our work, like being a woman, having children. Men are not facing this kind of situation that I think is a whole ecosystem. Women alone cannot do something to change this situation.
But can the conversation around this begin?
Yes.
So we can begin a conversation that can educate the public, that we all feel uncomfortable. So, Belle, I think many women will be very mad at me if I don't ask you this question. So how do you manage your time? You are the CEO of Licardo 2.2. You're the president of Licardo Learning Center. You have this NGO, African Wit. So how do you manage your time? You're married, you have kids. How do you get to manage your time?
It's a big question. I can say it's like you don't have choice when you have something like you have a vision for your career. It's like everything you are doing, being a mom, being is a choice. So, but all these people should not affect your vision or your human being, what you want to be as a person, as a woman. So I try to manage, but I can say I have also the chance to have my husband, to have family, because I'm traveling a lot and sometimes it's difficult for me to be with the kids. But my mom, they're always there, people around me. That is my case. Now I know there's other women don't have these people, and the situation can be maybe difficult for them to move on their career.
Wow. So Belle, you offer all these wonderful services, and how can those who need all these services, maybe want to enhance their business using e-business, e-commerce, who want to join all these digital channels, how can they get in contact with you, please?
Okay, to get in contact, I like to use social media. So for LinkedIn, if you know LinkedIn, you can just type Aurore Belle Bebga. Is the same on Facebook. And also you can send me an email to aurorebebga@gmail.com.
Okay. Belle, it couldn't have been better. I enjoyed every second of our discussion. Thank you so much for coming on the Shelma Show today.
Thank
We
you.
wish you all the best in all your endeavors.
Thank you, Sharon.
So on today's edition of the Shelma Show, we're with Belle Bebga. Belle is the CEO and founder of Licado 2.0. She's also the president and founder of Licado Learning Center. And Belle founded the NGO called African Wit, African Women in Technology Startups. Thank you for watching the Shelma Show and look forward to the next edition. I've been your host, Munja Shelley.